A first date after 60 is a different kind of occasion than a first date at 30. Not because the stakes are lower, in many ways they are higher, because both people know exactly what they want and neither has time or patience for the wrong impression, but because the man going on it has something the younger version of himself did not: experience, self-knowledge, and a clarity about who he is that no amount of effort at 30 could manufacture. The problem is that most men over 60 dress for a first date the way they dressed for important occasions at 40. Either they reach for the most formal version of themselves, the suit, the pressed shirt, the polished shoes, in an attempt to signal effort and respect, or they go too far in the other direction, telling themselves that at this age, authenticity matters more than appearance, and arriving in something that communicates that they did not think about it at all. Both of these approaches are wrong, not because the clothes are wrong in isolation, but because neither communicates what a well-dressed man over 60 on a first date actually wants to communicate, which is not that he tried very hard, and not that he did not try at all, but that he is a man who always looks like this: composed, considered, and completely at ease in how he presents himself, because this is simply who he is. This channel is about classic menswear, timeless style, and practical decisions that help men over 60 look sharp without overcomplicating things. A first date is one of the most specific occasions a man can dress for. It has a clear emotional context, a clear audience, and a very clear set of impressions it should create. Today we are going to make those decisions simple, practical, and entirely achievable. Let us start with what a first date outfit should actually do. It should communicate three things simultaneously: that the man made an effort, he thought about how he looks, and he cares about the impression he makes. That the effort was not visible, he is not wearing clothes that are obviously new, obviously formal, or obviously chosen to impress. And that he looks like himself, not a performance of someone trying to look good, but a man whose natural level of presentation happens to be this. This is the hardest balance to achieve, and the reason most men get it wrong. The suit tips too far toward visible effort. The casual clothes tip too far toward no effort. The sweet spot is a version of smart casual that is slightly more elevated than what the man might wear to a weekend lunch, but only slightly. Intentional without being theatrical, sharp without being stiff. The anchor piece is a blazer or an unstructured jacket, not a suit jacket. The suit is too formal for almost any first date setting that does not involve a very formal restaurant or a specific cultural occasion. An unstructured blazer in navy, camel, or charcoal, worn open over a clean collar, this is the correct anchor for a first date smart casual outfit. It signals effort without announcing formality. It shapes the shoulders and defines the silhouette without creating the slightly rigid impression of a fully structured jacket. And it can be adapted to almost any setting, from a casual evening bar to a nice restaurant, simply by adjusting what is worn beneath it. The color of the blazer matters more on a first date than it might on other occasions. Navy is the strongest choice. It is authoritative without being aggressive, refined without being formal, and it works with almost any skin tone and hair color. A camel or warm tan blazer adds warmth and approachability, particularly effective for men with silver or white hair, where the warm fabric against the cool hair creates a natural and masculine contrast. Charcoal is the most versatile in terms of pairing, but the coolest tonally. If the shirt beneath it is white and the trouser dark, it creates a clean, precise impression that reads as deliberate and considered. Beneath the blazer, the strongest choice is an open collar shirt. Not a polo for this occasion. The polo is slightly too casual for a first date setting. An Oxford shirt or a fine fabric button-down in white, pale blue, or a muted stripe worn with the top button or the top two buttons open. The collar should be in excellent condition, not softened, not curling, not asymmetric. This is the detail that is closest to the face and that the other person will look at most during the conversation. A clean, structured collar on a good shirt beneath a blazer creates a neckline that reads as considered and refined without a trace of effort. The trouser should be dark and well-fitted. Dark straight-leg chinos in charcoal or navy, or a clean pair of dark indigo jeans that are neither distressed nor faded. The choice between chinos and jeans depends on the setting. A restaurant warrants chinos, a bar or more casual venue can accommodate clean dark jeans. Either way, the trouser should end with a single clean break at the top of the shoe. No stacking. And the fit through the seat and thigh should be clean and slightly tailored, not tight, but not loose enough to suggest the trousers belong to a slightly different era. The shoe is the detail that most men underthink on a first date. The chunky trainer is immediately wrong. It breaks the register of everything above it and signals that the man did not think about the outfit all the way to the bottom. The very formal Oxford lace-up is too stiff for anything other than the most formal setting. It creates an overdressed impression that reads as trying too hard. The correct choice is a leather or suede loafer, or a clean derby shoe in dark brown or tan. These shoes carry enough structure to complement the blazer above them without pushing the outfit into territory that reads as overdressed for the occasion. And there is one specific quality that matters more on a first date than on most other occasions: condition. The shoes must be in excellent condition, polished if leather, brushed if suede, with no obvious scuffing, cracking or wear at the sole. On a first date, the other person will notice the shoes, not consciously, not in a way they would articulate, but the impression of a man whose shoes are maintained and cared for reads as a man who takes care of himself, which is exactly the impression a first date outfit should create. A clean, well-maintained leather or suede shoe in good condition finishes the outfit with exactly the level of intentionality the occasion requires. Now, here is the part that most style advice for dates misses entirely. The grooming decision is as important as the clothing decision, and on a first date it is arguably more important. A first date involves sustained close proximity and extended eye contact in a way that most other occasions do not. The face, the expression, the skin, the eyes, the hair is what the other person is spending most of their attention on, which means that a man who is well dressed but whose grooming is not at the same level as his clothing is wearing an outfit that is better than the impression he is creating. And a man whose grooming is considered and clean, whose hair is structured and intentional, whose skin looks healthy and alive, that man looks significantly better on a first date than his clothing alone would suggest. There is one grooming detail specific to first dates that applies to almost everything else in life, but is particularly visible here: the hands. During a first date, there is handshaking, there are shared moments when hands are visible on the table, and there may be physical contact that makes the hands immediately present. Dry, cracked or neglected hands undermine the overall impression of a man who takes care of himself. A basic hand cream applied daily and nails trimmed cleanly, not manicured in an elaborate way, simply clean and maintained, takes less than a minute and makes a visible difference. The practical grooming checklist for a first date is simple. The hair should be freshly cut. If the monthly appointment is more than 2 weeks away, book it before the date. The beard, if worn, should be trimmed to a clean, consistent length with a defined neckline, not the day before, because trimmed beard rash is visible, but 2 to 3 days before. The eyebrows should be checked and trimmed if needed. The skin should be moisturized and SPF applied if the date is in daylight hours. And cologne, 1 or 2 applications to the neck, nothing to the wrists or the clothing, should be the final step before leaving. Not too much, not too little, just enough that it is present, but not the first thing the other person registers when you walk in. And then there is one final consideration that is rarely discussed, but that matters more than most men expect: how the outfit fits in the context of where the date is happening. A blazer and dark chinos at a casual neighborhood bar will read as slightly overdressed, which is not a catastrophe, but which signals that the man did not consider the setting carefully. The same outfit at a good restaurant reads as exactly right. Before choosing the outfit, consider the venue. And if the venue is genuinely casual, a coffee shop, a relaxed bar, an outdoor setting, then the blazer can be replaced with a structured field jacket or a Harrington worn over the same shirt and dark trouser combination. The formality level adjusts, the intention does not. There is also the question of what to do if the venue is not known in advance, if the date is spontaneous, or if the other person is choosing the location. The answer is to dress at the mid-range of smart casual, the unstructured blazer version, which works in almost any setting that is not a black tie event or a hiking trail. When in doubt, the mid-range smart casual is always safer than either end of the register. Slightly overdressed for a casual bar is recoverable. Underdressed for a good restaurant is not. Here is the complete formula. An unstructured blazer or structured jacket in navy, camel or charcoal, adjusted to the setting. An open collar Oxford shirt in white or pale blue with a clean structured collar. Dark chinos or clean dark jeans with a single clean break at the shoe. A leather or suede loafer or derby in dark brown or tan, in excellent condition. Grooming at the same level as the clothing, freshly cut hair, trimmed beard, clean skin, one restrained cologne application. This is not a complicated outfit. It is not expensive to achieve. It does not require anything new in the wardrobe. What it requires is the deliberate assembly of pieces that already work together, applied to an occasion with a clear understanding of what impression they should create. And that assembly, that deliberate decision-making, is itself part of what the outfit communicates. A man who shows up looking composed, considered, and entirely at ease is a man who applied thought before he arrived, and that thought is visible even when nobody can name exactly where they are seeing it. A well-dressed man over 60 on a first date does not look like he is trying to impress. He looks like a man who always makes this much effort, because he does, and because at this stage of life that is simply who he is. So here is what I want to know. What has been the hardest part of dressing for a first date at this stage of life? Knowing the right level of formality, knowing what to do with the grooming, or knowing which specific pieces to reach for? Let me know in the comments. I read everyone. If you appreciate honest, practical style advice for men over 60, subscribe to the channel. In the next video, we are going into the wardrobe colors that make the biggest difference to how sharp a man looks every day, and the 5 specific ones to build everything around. You will not want to miss that one.